Wow. Oh my gosh. Alright, it's a beautiful Wednesday. The weather's nice. We're gonna make a biochar reactor. We thought about using this tank, but we ended up going with this tank over here because it's thinner. And I think the heat will transfer a little bit better to the wood. This one, it's got some short legs on it. We're gonna make it a little bit taller. It's got a spout on it down here. And we're gonna turn that 180 and run it back underneath so that the gases will burn underneath this in order to add a little bit extra heat to it. If you guys didn't see, we made a short video called Double Barrel Biochar. That's what inspired us to go ahead and make a bigger one. A more permanent solution. This is one that's pretty similar. You can just throw it into a brush pile, take advantage of the free heat, and make some charcoal, which you can put in your garden or blacksmith with, other stuff like that. But we're gonna use that tank. We're gonna use this support along with another one we already put in the shop in order to raise it up off the ground a little bit. That way the heat can get underneath the tank. See, this is why we need to finish our leaf vacuum. To finish our leaf vacuum, we could get rid of all this. And this process is called pyrolysis, which is where the wood burns in the absence of oxygen, and all the volatile parts come out of the wood as gases, and what you're left with is just pure carbon. Anytime you're dealing with a tank like this, it's really important to be safe about it. You gotta make sure you know what's in it, make sure that the container's open if you're gonna grind on it, make sure that there's no gases or fumes coming out of it. You can even fill them with water, and that would help mitigate any risk with it. For this, we're going to cut the legs off. We're going to try to make them a little bit taller. Just wanted to note, be very careful when you do anything like this on a tank, especially when you don't know what was in it. And this one's got some crud in it, but what do you think? Alright, let's see if we can't get these off here without breaking them, which is my specialty. So right here, I'm just taking the support legs off that already were on it. I raised them up, as you can see here, thinking we could still use them, but it wouldn't work because we'd have to cut them off to put a flange on one side for the door. But I was talking to Scott about it, and I don't know, I just figured we'd try it out, but it wasn't going to work. So we went back to the supports we had.
And then we have other legs for the other end, because we have to, this end here, we don't care if we block it.
Yeah, because it's no door.
The door on the other one. We'll have the door on this end.
Okay. So we'll cut these off.
I think.
Yeah.
And then we'll put that flange that we found the other day. It'll be close, but yeah, it'll fit. We'll put that on there.
That'll work.
That'll be our door to load.
Okay. Are we gonna have to get rid of this though?
I don't think so. We hold it up tight enough. We should be able to leave that on there.
Oh yeah, you got space to come down too if you wanted a little bit.
I like them adjustable legs. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah. This is where our door will be, so that'll all be cut out anyways. Yeah, so cut this piece out.
That piece can be cut out, these can be cut off, we could probably cut, well.
That one's already almost off.
Might have to clamp that back together and weld it. This can be cut off the front, we don't need any of that.
Okay.
I think we'll pull that back together, we'll weld that there. This will be a good height for our framework.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna clamp this back together and weld it. Don't look too close, but it should hold. Weld this up. I'm gonna cut the top off of this because we don't need it, and it'll match up to this height for our other supports. So let's cut it off. All right, that's the top cut off of it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up a little bit.
It doesn't smell right.
Yeah, what does it smell like?
It smells like old oil.
It looks like old oil in there. Yeah.
Probably have to burn it before we burn it.
All right, we're gonna take this valving off. And then what we'll do is we'll put the flange on it. We'll weld the flange on and then cut the inside. And we'll set this on there. I'm gonna go ahead and grind and clean up a little bit of this before we end up welding that on there.
I would stick it up there and weld it wherever you can.
Okay.
And we'll cut the hole in it, and then we'll take the C-clamp and squeeze it back to that.
Gotcha. That makes sense. All right, I'm gonna hold it up here and tack it on as high as I can.
Just thinking out loud, why don't you turn that where it's flat?
I'll try to learn.
Sometimes this younger generation just...
There he goes. Here he goes.
I'm gonna poop in my hat and put it on because I don't know how to dump it out.
That's a little bit better. Better than I usually do.
I would cut a hole in here real quick, like.
Plug it in, Carter. Plug it in. First he didn't put air in it, now he didn't plug it in. Golly, you should go to college.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Thought he had the Bluetooth line for better.
As you can see here, it's very nasty in this barrel. We're going to go ahead and burn all that out before we use it. You'll see us do that briefly. In this next part, I'm going to take C-clamps and clamp all that together. That way I can weld it. We can get it hopefully airtight, but you've seen my welds, so we'll see how this goes. Got the hole outside welded. We'll go ahead and trim all the rest of this off. There's the inside all cleaned up. I thought about adding this on here like that, so that way when the whole thing is like this, you can use the claw or the thumb on an excavator to pull it out of the fire. So I might clean this piece up. We're going to weld a lug on it as well, so I'll clean this lug up and I'll clean these up. We're gonna set this down and we'll weld that to it. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna weld the top of this bar to the top of the barrel. And that way this whole thing can hinge back and forth. We can lift it with the crane in the back end and it'll all dump out over here. And that should allow us to get it out a little bit easier. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna weld. Cat's climbing on it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna weld these on the back side there, and that'll give us a good idea of how to getting it all level, and then I'll finish welding it all out, and then we'll put something over the top of these so our hinge bar will stay in place. Weld that onto the back there. Here you can see me just dumping this oil out. I don't know why I didn't think of that beforehand. You can see me kind of scramble to put it back down flat, but not before making a mess on the floor.
I think you made a mess.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh yes, this hinge is perfect. And it's also dumping all the oil out. So this will 180 back down under, and underneath it it'll have little holes in it so the flames will shoot out from under there.
Be like a burn.
Yeah, it'd be like a burner. Next thing we're gonna do is weld something over the top of this so this bar stays in place. Alright, here's where we're at. We just took some bars, bent them over there and welded it so that'll stay in place. Got most of it welded. I'm gonna try to pick the whole thing up with the crane. I'm gonna hammer this off as well. So there it is, it's balanced pretty well. Decently at least. It's got a little bit of a, needs a bigger hole there, but as you can see this swings. So that way we can lift it from this point, hinge it, and then everything will drop out of it. All that's left to do is to put a door on it, and then we're gonna put the pipe that runs underneath
Clean up his mess.
and clean up my mess. Go ahead and cut this pipe off at 42 inches. This will be the pipe we'll put slits in. It'll go underneath the barrel. That way the gases from the pyrolysis will come up and burn underneath the tank, so we're reusing them. It ain't my best work, but I should do it. I don't need to be anything special. And it certainly ain't, so that's gonna do. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and cut the cap that goes on the end. And then the only other thing we'll need to do is we'll create a cap on the top end where normally the cap would screw in. It'll just be a pipe that comes up, and it'll have a bigger pipe that comes over it that has a plug, so that way when the gases are escaping it will slightly rise up, and then when the gases stop coming out it'll fall back down onto it, closing it off. It's like a parrot. Got it burnt out, packing it full of wood.
We're going to do an experiment too. There's a big round piece. We're going to put it up here and see if it burns.
The whole thing turns to charcoal.
Yeah.
With a big log, charcoal log.
I almost did that great big one, but I thought, man.
Put something like this, put a big, like just one big log.
That's a pack.
That's a pack for sure.
You definitely don't have enough for another batch.
Nope. Ate into the pile pretty good. Well, my welds are holding for now. Here's our little cap at the top. Gases can escape out of there if they need. And as soon as they quit, it'll fall back in place. We probably won't end up using that pipe we had under there. So that door we just made didn't actually work. This whole spacing wasn't correct, and then it was a little bit warped when we cut it, so it was all messed up. Tried punching holes in it like this, but they all didn't line up, so we got as many as we could on there, and you'll see later we actually ended up making a new door because this one leaked pretty bad. Now we're gonna pile stuff up around it the rest of the way. Leaking real bad around the door. A new one. Oh yeah.
Okay, baby, I hope it's it.
Got that new door on there, so a lot less gas leaks out. We don't put a lot of wood near the front because we don't want it to warp the door. It's not as thick as the old one. Another thing that was making all of this very difficult is that all the wood was wet. It had rained the night before, so the wood inside and out was wet. Cracked it pretty good. Took the cap off, and it was holding back so much pressure it was coming out the door, but now nothing's coming out the door, so we'll leave it off until it starts. Well, you can kind of see it there. We'll try to plug it again once it starts flaring off and see if our bottom pipe will do anything, but we haven't seen any activity from it, so it's probably plugged up. We'll have to do something larger next time. I think our pipe on the bottom might be working. There's kind of this hollow sound, but we don't see any flames, so it must be steam still. So what I think was happening here was that the wood that's stacked towards the wall of the barrel on the outside was having its water driven off first. It got the most heat, and the stuff towards the center needed more time and heat, so it was releasing steam. So the stuff on the outside gave off the wood gas, stuff on the inside gave off the steam, and it didn't create a mixture that burnt very well. But you'll see that it does burn, and the high heat on the bottom, and it progressively got better as time went on. Closed there, steaming like crazy, or smoking. You can hear a little bit of a roar coming from underneath it. Really see it in there, right in there, blowing. Can't get very close because this fire's so hot.
Door burning. There it is.
Oh my gosh. That's gonna take off, isn't it? Throw an ember in it. Think you can shovel that rest of the thing up? Yeah. As I was talking about earlier, here you can really see where there's a lot of steam mixed in, because if not, this flame would just sustain itself perfectly, but it's using heat from this stick that's burning next to it to ignite it. There it goes. Really needs something on fire already next to it to set all that off. You can see it's putting out a good amount. That's a 2-inch pipe on the top there. Isn't that crazy? We'll put the lid back on so that the gases will burn underneath it. Yeah, you can immediately tell. Burning away. See one of our legs in there, right there, is red hot. This is a little bit further into the run. What would you say this is, like 4 hours?
1,400 hours.
1,400 hours.
Probably 10.
It's calmed down a lot now. A lot of this is probably the stuff towards the center that we stacked. So we're in the back half for sure. We were for sure not in the back half because we had hours and hours to go. Our only issue here was that we didn't use enough heat. So you can see we pile more on there and it kicks right back up, which we were a little bit disappointed because we thought we were almost done. Give it one last go here. Put a bunch on there and then let it ride to the end. Then we'll let it cool off. Open it up and see what we got. Well, we thought we were close to done, but threw some more on there. And as you can see, it's really jetting out the back there. Let's see if I can zoom in. Probably can't see it super well, but you can probably hear it coming out the back. Probably not enough heat on the top. Ripping out of that lid. And that lid's heavy. And it's got a piece of wood sitting on it. There's plenty of pressure. It's a little disappointing to see because we thought we were done, but
We're thinking the top of the barrel is cooling off.
yeah, we think the top of the barrel is getting too cool. But this setup's great for large brush and stuff like that. You can kind of just throw it all on there and forget about it. We were talking about building a different one, a more efficient one, where you have a firebox to fuel it. So maybe at some point down the road we'll do that. The shroud would help.
Take that 2-inch and run it back here.
Yeah, you know those like heat umbrellas at like restaurants and stuff? If we put the shroud over it and then had it feed up underneath it so it has the flow down and out. We also talked about in our next build if we have a way that we can rotate the chamber so you can flip it 180 while it's working.
Feel like a rotisserie chicken. Wow, that's still really hot.
Woo. Oh. Every time we get it hot again, it still gases, so that's the moral of the story here, is you got to keep it hot consistently. So we're learning as we go. I'd say the bottom of our barrel is pretty hot. Look at that. Now it's ripping. We were nowhere near done. We thought we were. Look at that thing flare off. Well, it's taking a lot longer than we thought. Still flaring pretty good. Man, can you believe it? That's out of a 2-inch pipe. We had it packed full. We actually, Scott was moving some stuff around. We lost the cap. So we don't know where it went, so we're trying to find it. And then hopefully we'll be able to put that cap on the top so that oxygen doesn't get back in when it finally calms down. But yeah, going well, just taking a long time. I want to see if we can put it out and relight it. Definitely can. Still got some nice pressure on it. That nice blue flame you see there is hydrogen burning off from the wood. Got a piece of plate over it. Lots of pressure still.
Stopping the opening there.
Calling it quits for now. Put the cap on the top. Whatever's left is coming out the bottom.
Hopefully it's charcoal.
Hopefully it's charcoal. Come back once it's all cooled off. Next day. Still a little hot. Oh my gosh. We spent the past probably an hour or two yesterday and today looking for the cap. And it's been buried right in front of us the whole time. So you were right, he did drive it into the ground. Cooled off, we're gonna go ahead and open it up. Pouring out of here. Here's the door, that looks like. Lots of tar. Wow, check it out. That's crazy. I mean, look at these pieces. And they're just, hey, look at this one. They just fall off the bone. All the way through. Look at that. There might be some uncompleted ones. This one looks to be uncompleted. Let me pick you out a good one here to showcase. Here's a big piece. I'll tell you what, that piece is heavy, and I really doubt it's done all the way through. I really think things like this didn't work because they were wet when we put them in there, and just didn't get enough heat on them. We didn't have as much heat in the front, so I bet the ones in the back are definitely more done. Well, it looks like we got about 55-gallon drum full, plus a little bit extra on the ground. So, overall, pretty good success. Alright, well, what did we learn here? We learned that you gotta have a fire that's really hot. Even our brush pile was very hot, but you need to fully surround whatever container that you're using. Especially if it's like 150 gallons like this one. The heat needs to be everywhere over it, or else you're gonna end up with some pieces that are incompleted. Also, make sure your material's dry. It will make this so much easier. And I really think even big pieces like this would have been more completed if we had all the moisture out of the wood beforehand. But stuff like this just wasn't gonna do it when it's wet. You're gonna get incompletes like this, but we also did get quite a few pieces that were decent in size like this. That were completed all the way through. As far as design goes, this one works pretty well for a brush fire. If I were to do it again, which we might, I would make sure our pipe's shorter on the bottom so it jets out underneath and covers the entire bottom of the barrel. We would also add some sort of shroud over the top. That way the heat will get towards the top end of the barrel and fully complete the process. We wouldn't lose our cap. That'd be another thing that would help. Yeah, our door doesn't seal perfectly, but it looks like it didn't matter. I think those are some things we would have done different. And if you guys want, we consider making a more stationary one, a better one that you have a firebox on and you feed the firebox. Make sure you guys like, hang out for a while if you'd like, subscribe if you want. Just trying to build a community of people who want to do cool stuff like this. So appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one.